guess good morning, good afternoon. Does that work? That works. Poor Squeaks, man. I guess in a couple of weeks, Squeaks will be getting his nuts cut. And that'll also be when he gets his last round of, primary inoculation shots, which means that we'll be able to let him come out here with us for a little bit. Just have to keep an eye on him. What it do? What it do? What it do? Good morning. Morning. I mean, heretics have always existed in this world, and they've always sought to undermine the religious faith of people who are doing no harm to them. And, as one who knows the teaching of the Tomat, like the fact that people are trying to tell me that the Tomat is an orange, they don't understand how offensive that is, to a believer. We're not really in the country. So I'm not worried about coyotes. Senor Tomat. Just watch JF stream with Emily, and now that's racism. Now that's some spicy racism. Something someone sent me from the Periscope days. Oh, sweet. Well, stay tuned. Coolman's digging deep. Coolman is digging deep back to the Periscope days when Highdeology was known as Highdeas. Man, I wish I was the first dude to think of that. When we decided to move it over here, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to make it Highdeas. And then we looked into it, and there's already like a pretty big channel named Highdeas, and there's like a fucking website, highdeas.com and shit. And I'm just like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't really like Highdeology as much. Too many syllables. Well, whatever. I was curious to find out what is the currency exchange between Vanilla Ices and Andy Dicks, because Rob Schneider and Pauly Shore got Andy Dicks. How many Vanilla Ices would that convert to? That's a good point. I don't know. We'd have to ask TJ. He came up with both of those, systems. The sad thing about Emily is that she's actually a talented animator, so it's sad to see her going down the path of stupid shit. I don't care what she is. Like, I don't care if she's a fucking master chef or the world's nicest veterinarian or whatever. You spout shit like that, you're a piece of fucking trash. Just utterly disregardable person. The sad thing is, too, is if you go into well, it's not sad. I mean, it just should be a wake-up call. You go into the comments of that video, where he had this Emily Eustace bitch on, and she's giving people exactly what they want. The comments are just absolutely stacked with people going like, we want more of this. We want more Emily. Make Emily your permanent co-host. Bring Emily back. So that she can, what, like, make fucking redneck jokes? Like, that's what they want to hear? Because goddamn, man. Fuck, dude. JF is looking for co-hosts. I know a few people back where I'm from that could fill in the boots. They know a lot of racist jokes, don't like black people, don't like Mexicans, probably would love to sit and talk about how great it would be for white people to create their own little whitey kingdom. Like, is any redneck fucking, like, allowed to give a try there? Or you gotta be a hot redneck? I mean, it's just hilarious. Why don't you become JF's co-host, dude? I don't care how big that show was. You couldn't pay me. You couldn't fucking pay me, dude. Could not fucking pay me. JF is a smart guy. I really don't understand why he's falling for this shit. Because he's insane. Like, I don't know if it's just like JF found a group of disaffected young men that he knew would follow everything he said if he towed the racist line, or if he actually believes this bullshit. But either way, it doesn't really matter. I mean, what does matter to me is the amount of young, mostly men, who have been brought under the banner of this type of bullshit, who listen to a woman sit and make black people are monkeys jokes for an hour and a half, and then in the chat talk about how delightful she is and how it's so great to hear her talking about things that matter. Like, is that a meme? Like, are we all being memed here? Or, you know, I don't think we are. I mean, I don't know that I could go through the mental gymnastics of fucking defending something so slack-jawed and stupid. You think she secretly gets railed by black guys? That would be the funniest fucking shit, dude. That would be the funniest fucking shit if, like, a sex tape of her surfaced with her just, like, getting a train run on her by black dudes. Oh my god, dude. I can't even imagine how awesome that would be. What's this big announcement you guys are going on about? You'll have to stay tuned, buddy. You'll have to stay tuned. It's awesome, though. I mean, like, you guys are gonna. Well, I mean, some of you guys might not be super excited, but I think everybody should be excited about this, because no matter what, people are gonna get some awesome content out of it. But you guys, you just gotta wait. You just gotta wait. That happened with a neo-Nazi and diaper enthusiast named Blonde Boy. He got anally gangbanged by like 10 black guys. That's cute. Big announcement, Paul and TJ are getting engaged. Oh man, you blew it. You blew it! You blew it! You like songs that give a dark atmosphere but sounds like it was recorded in a basement? What? What are you even asking? You blew it, man. Me and TJ were gonna secretly get married and then announce our marriage, but you blew it. If you hate mosquitoes, why do you sit out where they can bite you? Because I don't hate mosquitoes as much as I like sitting out here and enjoying the breeze and a little bit of sunlight and the birds. I'm willing to put up with it. I heard JF back in 2015 saying he kind of liked Trump in the primaries. Little did we know. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with JF, is I don't remember a whole lot of the substance of the interviews and appearances we gave with him, but I know that most of the most notable things that came out of our, back and forth guest affiliation with JF was, it was all kind of funny stuff. Like JF, as I remember him back on the show, was just kind of a funny, kind of kooky French scientist dude who was willing to come on and slum it with us and look at these weird videos and laugh with us about them, But you have to understand, like, if you really did watch that interview with Emily, then you heard some things that, are indicative of the neo-fascist movement. You heard her talking about, quote unquote, hiding her power level. That happens very early on in his interview slash show with her, where she talks about how she doesn't quite know what she's allowed to say on the show. I'm not sure how far I can go, she says several times, while testing the waters with various levels of racism. One of them being, I think we need to nuke Africa because that's just nature taking its course. One of them being, black people don't know how to farm or use tools because Africa, has the tools to farm its land, but it doesn't, and people starve. And that's indicative somehow of black people. Just on and on and on. And then she goes on to talk about how, she doesn't know what she can get away with, and how she's very good at hiding her power level. She sings Africa by Toto to lighten it up after talking about nuking it, unironically. Then she lightens the mood by singing Africa by Toto. But if you tune into this shit and you hear, these types of thinkers talk to one another, when they say hiding their power level, they're what they're basically saying is hiding how racist they really are. These are exactly, treaded water, thinkers. These are your right-wing thinkers who openly discuss how in public they don't say all the crazy racist shit that they believe because they know that people would ostracize them for it. So they hide their power level. And that was Emily Eustace hiding her power level, calling black people monkeys, saying that we should nuke Africa and that black people don't know how to farm or use tools. That's her toning it down. So, can they go Super Saiyan? I think when you go Super Saiyan, you get your own you get your own alt-right web show. So I think, Andy Worski went Super Saiyan, he got Worski Live. JF went Super Saiyan, he got Z Public's face. I think that's what happens when you go Super Saiyan in the racist movement. You get your own show. Your psychopath radar started beeping when you saw her on the show. I don't know about that, but I'll tell you what radar was beeping when I was watching that show. The oh my god, JF is hard up for pussy radar was going off like fucking mad. Dude, the way he was smiling and giggling at everything she said was one of the creepiest things I've ever seen, dude. He wants inside of her so bad. And, like, it's one thing to want to be inside a chick, and it's another thing to wear it all over your face and mannerisms like a fucking, like, aren't these people supposed to be alphas? Like, isn't this supposed to be like the alpha dog? Why is he following her around like a little beta? Why is he acting like the little beta puppy? Why is he acting like the little runt? Like, dude, just go watch it. Watch his fucking facial expressions and watch how he giggles at every little attempt at a joke she makes and praises everything that she says as brilliant. I mean, like, come on. What's going on with JF? I thought he was swimming in it. Isn't he the dude that talked about how he chain fucked women up the East Coast for like 3 years straight? Why does he look like he's fucking starved and begging for it now? Like, what happened? I mean, usually, like, whatever. I'm not the type of dude to call that sort of thing out, but it was, like, egregious. A little bit of deference to a chick, a little suspicious laugh here and there for a chick that's good looking is something that a lot of guys can't help but do. We have this kind of social programming to, try and do that. But like to just absolutely drape yourself over her and just melt at every little attempt at a joke she makes into, like, I don't know, elfish giggles. I don't know how else to describe the way he laughs at her shit. Impish little giggles. Like he sounds like he's about to steal your cookies or something. You know what I mean? Like it sounds like he's about to do a backflip up onto your counter and raid your cookie jar and carry them off to like a magical land where cookies come to life. I don't know. Like I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what the fuck is going on with JF. What are you talking about, Paul? JF slays pussy like Howard Bloom does push-ups. Oh, shit. There is no alpha, no omega. Only goat and fish. Goat versus fish. What a strange thing to make a YouTube channel based on, Goat versus fish. The eternal battle. Who will win? Paul is low IQ. Wee. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I love that low IQ is the standard call-out in this new alt-right community when they sit around and listen to people call black people monkeys. That's my favorite part. You know what I mean? They call their detractors low IQ while thinking it's high comedy to call black people monkeys. Holy shit, dude. The inversion. Here we go again. What are you talking about? Here we go again. Here we go every goddamn day. What's the chance of Trump being impeached with all this shit happening now? It's getting more likely by the day for me. Well, here are the signs to watch out for. Number one, if you've read all of the questions that Mueller has for Donald Trump, it is 110% a perjury trap. He's not even trying to hide that it's a perjury trap. He's asking him a bunch of questions, all of them focused on what he knew about his people in his cabinet's involvement with Russia, what he knew at what time about meetings that took place between his campaign and Russian nationals, and it's like, so that's number one. Number two, Donald Trump getting rid of Ty Cobb and hiring the lawyer that represented Bill Clinton during his impeachment hearings is a sign that he's probably got some legal heads up knowledge here that, a perjury case is probably in the works. On top of that, we're getting these wild contradictory statements out of the White House now. So Rudy Giuliani is part of Trump's team, and he recently talked about how Trump knew about this payment that was allegedly made to this porn star for her silence. And that's directly contradicts what Trump has been saying since the beginning with this, which is that he had no idea about the payment, has no idea what it was for. Now he's going, oh yeah, I made that payment and I reimbursed him out of my own personal money, so no campaign money was involved and blah blah blah. But the problem is that just is another example of the president publicly lying about something to do with this investigation, about something that's adjunct to this investigation. So Trump is a nightmare. Like, there's absolutely no way that any of his legal team is telling him to send out these tweets that he's talking about. No collusion, and I never said that, I never did this. Because every time he opens his mouth about this, it contradicts something he said before. And if Mueller is able to get his presidential ass on a seat and ask him those few dozen questions he has for him, Donald Trump is going to fuck himself. Hey, Sal. Go, go, buddy. One. Oh, your generation predictions are starting to come true. I'm now seeing more reports about Gen Zers adopting more conservative values as rebellion against the irrationality of millennials. Well, that's why we're seeing such a rise in popularity for these like far right-wing race baiting people. You know, is like these kids, a lot of them are like, and you're gonna see more of that as these kids get older. There are fucking 16,000 people showing up to watch JF and Emily Eustace call Black People Monkeys live. Because, you know, these kids are looking for something to call their own, and they don't see anything happening on the left that they can attach themselves to anymore. So... it's like all people want to talk about is race these days. Well, that's a failure of people who are not racist thinkers, not the people trying to push the agenda. We allow people like JF and Andy Worski and Emily Eustace to push the conversation towards race and away from substantive issues because they know that that's something that we can't win. You're not going to convince, like American History X, the arc of that movie, where the racist figures out what's wrong with racism. While that may happen, it's an outlier. You don't unconvince a racist. So they try and make that the front and center like point of the political debate because it's something that they cannot lose with their base. No matter what. No matter how you perform in a debate about race, as long as you repeat your talking points at the person, the facts that are lobbed at you the other way don't matter. That's why it's pointless to go on these people's shows and go, you're racist and here's why racism is wrong, because you cannot win in that environment. You win with people that think like you, but that's not who you're trying to reach. You're trying to reach the 16,000 people that are watching JF every time he goes live and brings somebody on to call Black people monkeys. And you cannot win. You'd have to literally, utterly decimate the person, reduce them to a blubbering mess, and have them renounce their racist beliefs in front of their audience to even score a point on them. You don't win. You just lose. Thanks, Mike. Peace out. Rise in the popularity of the far right. Meanwhile, most of this far right is adults, not kids. You might want to go hang out in one of JF's chat rooms. Next time JF's public show space goes on fucking live, go hang out in that chat room and tell me these are grown-ups. These are young men. 90% young men, probably ranging from like 16 to 21, 22, somewhere in that zone. In other words, people whose brains haven't even finished developing yet. How do you win against a racist thinker? You make fun of them. Publicly. You goof on them. You make them look like the ridiculous fucking buffoons that they are in public. And you use that as a limiting factor to the growth of their fucking base. It's not about the rise of the far right or the far left. The problem is that people are getting more extreme in their beliefs in general because they live in an echo chamber. Well, not only that, but the bipartisan part of our political lives sucks. We watch what happens when our middle ground politicians, the ones serving at national levels and stuff, come together and work together, and it's almost never and almost nothing. So people sneak ever farther away from that kind of 50-50 centrist view of things. Some of them sneak towards the right, some of them sneak towards the left, and then it just creeps from there. Once you kick the door open to irrationality and shit, it's pretty easy to accept the precepts as they're delivered to you one by one. I feel like a lot of this alt-right populism is a direct result of people not knowing their history and schools being total shit. I mean, that's probably have like, it's probably a factor, but I don't know, man. Honestly, I just think it's like an increasing... If you ask me what racism is based on, it's based probably on having someone to blame. At least modern racism. Now, I can't really look into the mindset of a racist, 100 years ago or 150 years ago or 200 years ago. But now, when I hear racists talking, all I hear is excuses and scapegoats. This is wrong with society, and the reason that this is wrong with society is because of the Jews, or the blacks, or the Mexicans. This is a political problem, and the reason for that, the Jews, the blacks, the Mexicans. So really, racism then, in my opinion, can be boiled down on wanting to have someone to blame for your problems so that you can go through the simplistic act of calling someone out and placing blame on someone rather than the hard act of going through your mind and looking at the different perspectives and finding an actual solution. It is so much easier to go, they did it. It was them. Them. The fill in the blanks. Jews. The blacks. The Mexicans. It was them. That's easy, isn't it? It's easy to go, why is there poverty? Why is there crime? Why is there gun violence? Why is there, this kind of erosion of the family unit? It was them. Who's been pushing the liberal leftist fag agenda? It's the Jews in the media. It was them. That's what racism is. Racism allows people to create a them that they can then blame for everything that's wrong in their stupid fucking lives. And that's just emptiness. That there's nothing to that. Nothing good is going to come out of a show where all you do is bring quote-unquote intellectuals on to discuss why every problem in the world has to do with this race of people or that race of people. Do blacks in America cause more crime than whites? Yes, but that's not racist. It's explainable. I mean, there's nothing racist about that. It's explainable. When that becomes racist is when you take that statement and apply it to all black people and want to treat them all as if they're violent thugs. That's when it becomes racist. Is thinking that there are IQ differences between the races racist? Absolutely not. That's a fact. What is racist is taking those facts and using them to imply that one race is inferior to another race on an individual level across the board, and then extrapolating that further to mean that white people, in order to protect their hegemony, should eject all black people out. That's another thing that Emily Eustace says in that show, just openly and honestly. She says, I think that there's not going to be a political ethno state. I think that we're going to have to round these people up and exit them from our country. So there it is. I mean, that's the open admittance that the fucking, this ethno state nonsense is not just an intellectual pursuit. It's not just a fun little, thought experiment. It's the same old song and dance. Get 'em out, out, nigger, 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 out, nigger, 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 out. You want to know where I heard that chanted for the first time? I heard that chanted at a party I went to in my shitty little yokel town that I grew up in. Some skinheads were there. Nigger, 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 out. Was I one of them? No. Yeah, sure. People change their views, but that doesn't make their views any less reprehensible while they hold them. Yeah. Like a lot of these kids watching JF right now and, loving the idea of kicking all black people out of the country and shit, a lot of them are probably going to grow up and go, what the fuck was I thinking? But right now, when life consists of their bedroom and what they watch on the internet in terms of social interaction, they're not going to be forced to confront the stupidity of their beliefs. So, they can all pretend that this ethno-state shit is an actual intellectual pursuit when it's just repackaged racist nonsense. You first heard that chant on a footage from a Democracy Now! Report. I've heard it other places as well. I heard it, it kind of gave me chills when I watched it for the first time. There's a documentarian from Britain named Louis Theroux who does a lot of documentaries, of slice of life kind of documentaries, where he tries to get really close to people who are ideologically strange. He did a famous pair of documentaries about the Westboro Baptist family, where he was actually allowed to come and stay with them and shoot them day to day. But there's one called Louis versus the Nazis, where he follows around several different levels of white supremacist in America. One of them being a former Grand Dragon of the KKK or something, who's now kind of a retired, semi-retired TV repairman, or at least he was at the time of this documentary. He might be dead now. He's kind of old. But he went to a rally of skinheads in California, by the way, just a few miles from where I grew up. A couple hours drive from where I grew up. He said there's this big backyard rally of fucking skinheads happening. And he goes to it, and that's the chant that he leads them on, or one of the chants. There's a clip of him standing on stage screaming into the mic, nigger, 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 and they all respond, out, and they all do a Roman salute every time they say out. Nigger, 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 out. That's been dressed up to, I don't think there is a political solution to our desire for an ethno-state, so we're going to have to round them up, and, some of them will probably leave peacefully, but the ones that don't, that's how that little racist meme has been rebranded into something that's a little better, a little easier to dress up in the social media age. It's a little harder to sell nigger, 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 out. But ethno-state, oh my goodness, that sounds scientific. That sounds philosophical. That sounds like something that I can pretend I know about to people. You've lost weight, Paul. I see it in the face. Maybe I have. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have. I really don't feel like I've changed anything. Because they don't want an ethno-state. They don't want their own ethno-state. See, that's the thing. Like, when you ask some of these people, like I've talked to some of these people espousing this ethno-state shit. And what they'll tell you, at least some of them will, what they'll tell you is like, you know, you don't have to participate if you don't want to. But that's a lie. They want control politically so that they can enact a racist agenda that involves literal deportation of people who are not, quote, end quote, white. So they can't even be honest with you. Hence, back to the beginning of this conversation when I was talking about Emily Eustace saying she knows how to hide her power level. It's all a game. See, say what you want about me. I'm not claiming to be some kind of big public intellectual. I never wanted that. I don't want that. I'm a stoner who talks about shit. And that's how I present myself to you guys, okay? But say what you want about me. You hear the truth from me about what I believe. I'm not hiding my power level under anything. If you guys ask me a question about politics or a social issue, I don't have to filter my real opinion through some fucking web of lies in my mind and spit something out that I think is palatable for you. I just tell you what I think. And it might be right and it might be wrong, and the references that I make might be incorrect, and you should take everything that I say with a grain of salt. But at the very fucking baseline least, I'm telling you the truth about what I believe. I'm not going, how do I hide my evil racist nonsense behind something that sounds smart? Oh yes, ethno-state is what I advocate for. Garbage. Garbage. Yeah, 3-syllable word. Greek in root. Greek and Latin in root. Oh my goodness, it must be some kind of professional sociological term then. Ethno-state. It's weird how people use race statistics as if they exist in a vacuum and as if it's indicative of the nature of a group of people instead of a snapshot. I mean, who was it that coined the very, very true phrase? There are lies, damn lies, and statistics. I mean, that pretty much sums it up. Statistics are useful as one data point to examine a larger problem. Mark Twain. Well, there you go. The smartest of the smart. That's a genius. That's a stable genius right there. What do you think of Hunter S. Thompson, and will you ever consider making a DFF on him? I think that would be a great DFF. I'm pretty sure TJ knows a lot more about Hunter S. Thompson than I do, but I might be wrong about that. I'm not super familiar, but I'd like to learn about him to do a show. So I'm surprised these people that want an ethno-state haven't attempted to pool money together, buy a piece of land, and move there. Because that's not what it's about, Coolman. Like, that's my point. It's not about them going off and living in some kind of white-only hippie commune. That's been tried, and that's failed. You know, that's Waco. That's, you know, any number of these fucking, like, separatist movements have tried that and failed. This new rebranding as ethno-state of their stupid, one-toothed, racist ideology has one goal. And that's really what we've been talking about here today. The goal is to make it a politically acceptable thing to talk about white people kicking other people out of the country and making this a country of their own, or carving out a country, you know what I mean? To make that a political football that they can now punt into your yard and make you fucking answer like it has some scientific basis or merit or root in anything other than racist thought. That's what this is about. That's why these little shows happen. It's about dissemination of information to willing, young, eager minds. It's the modern day skinhead rally. It's the modern day, like, come on over here, man, and hang out with us, bro. You know, hang out with whites. Whites ought to hang with whites. You know what I mean? You know, we got to take care of our own. I mean, let's be honest. Look what the blacks do. You're telling me they don't take care of their own? I mean, we can't do that? Come on, come over here. Come over here and listen to my bullshit. The same old song and dance, the same old recruitment method that's been used on young men, young white men, since the beginning of this fucking stupid white racist movement. That's what it is. You're right. Skinheads had brass knuckles and steel-toed boots. It's a little different. You're right. And they actually went out and did violence to people. I'm not trying to make a direct correlation in that. I'm just saying that the fucking, like, the point is the same. The point is to get disaffected young men together and to tell them what they should be proud of about themselves and to make it something like race that you can manipulate and to fill their heads with a bunch of lies to make them hateful people that are willing to go and carry out your agenda. It's the same fucking thing. Listen to Emily Eustace on the public space talking about nuking Africa and not joking about it. Talking about how she doesn't believe that there's a political solution to the problems of race, and she wants to round up every person that isn't white and kick them out of our country. She calls black people monkeys. And does all of that while also talking about how she's hiding her power level and doesn't know what she can get away with saying on YouTube. So the well of shit goes deeper. How is that any different from some fucking chucklefuck standing on a stage at a fucking skinhead punk show going, you know what, brothers? We got to stick together, the white people. We got to all stick together. We got to take care of each other because we are brothers in blood. We all come from a proud tradition of white people that have made this planet a better place. And if we stand by and let these lesser races come in and take what's ours, then we're just meat for the beast. See Kyle, see Kyle, see. Yeah, same shit, different audience. Same old shit, different day, guys. Same old shit, different day. Your jiggling is gonna make me nut. All right, I'll calm down on the jiggling. You get my drift here, right? Point made. Only had to sing a fake Nazi punk song to drive home the point. Yeah, I'm an SJW. I'm an SJW because I don't like barefoot, fiddle playing, jug blowing, fucking racist nonsense. Yep. That makes me an SJW. Everyone who disagrees with me is an SJW. Yep. Yep. Oh, you didn't know? You didn't know? I'm a total SJW. Yep. A salty justice warrior. That's exactly it, dude. That's exactly it, Blood Raven. A salty justice warrior. Paul, a lot of your fans in the chat believe in this ethno-state BS. Why do you think these people watch your shit all the time? I don't think they do. I don't hear them defending it. Every once in a blue moon, some idiot will come in here and talk shit, but they don't usually hang around very long. I don't see a whole lot of, like, the ethno-state is real going on in my chat. The documentary Paul talked about earlier was called Louis versus the Nazis. Yeah. Yeah, Louis Theroux in general, like, anything that he's done is worth a watch if you like documentaries, and, like, especially slice of life documentaries where you get to really delve into the mind of this the subject of the documentary. I love that type of shit, and Louis is one of the best. We've gotten to the point where people think that any kind of legit social justice makes you an SJW, thus bad. They can't tell the difference. Well, I mean, like, that's the problem with labels, you know? And I don't got a problem calling an SJW, but the problem with flinging that around before you listen to somebody's core beliefs is that the label just becomes a catch-all for people that don't agree with you. I mean, the more you allow it to do that, the more SJWs you see in the world. The more isolated you become, you know, the more closed off to other people's input that you become. Hey, baby. What you doing?
You're having oat bar and coffee.
Oat bar and coffee, dude. I want coffee.
Chelsea's making some hot coffee, but you can have a sip of this if you want.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I want some hot coffee, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's your double brew or whatever?
Cold brew.
Cold brew, yeah.
You just put half of concentrate, half water, and I brought water from the store because it's filtered. And then vanilla.
Yeah, it's good.
Milk. Yeah.
You want crack cocaine? What? No. Get out of here. Don't be a drug dealer. We don't deal drugs around here, sir. You like Adam Curtis docs? Yes. Yes. Oh, dude. Maybe I'll do a video on Adam Curtis documentaries or something for Sentiment for Cynics one day. Because I love, like, you know, like every opinionated documentary, you've got to take it with a grain of salt. But I love his view on humanity as being kind of manipulated by psychological forces that are out of our control. He's got a documentary called The Power of Nightmares that's all about the parallels between the neoconservative movement and the conservative Islamic movement. He's got another one called the 21st, or no, the Century of the Self, I believe it's called, which is all about how psychology was used in advertising to start manipulating people in political movements. And then he's got one called, I'm trying to remember all the Curtis documentaries. There's at least one more that I think is really great, but I'm having trouble remembering the name of it. But yeah, no, Adam Curtis is pretty brilliant. JF can eat you alive, Paul. He can eat my dick. Paul, how can skinheads be racist? Isn't this the same subculture that used to perform black influenced music back in the day? What are you talking about, man? I think you might be confused. A good documentary is Tickled, if you've never seen it. Oh, I've heard about it. I haven't seen it. I've heard about it, though. Hey, Paul, do you ever watch any videos from Sargon of Akkad? Very fucking rarely. Very, very fucking rarely. Like, I'll see one in my recommended shit and I'll watch it. Because I've done it in the past, so every once in a while YouTube will throw me a Sargon video and I'll go, okay. Yeah, all that memeing I did for Trump, it was just satire, you see. I'm a liberalist. Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. Those of you that watch me know that when I was pro-Trump during the campaign, it was satire. And those of you that are familiar with Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon's wide array of political opinions know when I'm being satirical and know when I'm not being satirical, yes? Ashley, your hair looks especially pink today.
Wow.
Oh.
It's actually starting to fade. Well, the blue was faded into purple. It's fading back into pink.
Yeah. There's a lot of pink going on there still. Like, the pink ain't really fading.
Yeah, it's like so stained in there that it can't really fade anymore. I'm a brunette underneath all this. Well, before it was bleached.
So you're not Sargi's biggest fan? No, I just told you I only watch one of his videos like once every 6 months or something. So I guess that would qualify me as not his biggest fan. At least you can say Sargon isn't a race realist. Well, hallelujah for that. That is true. That is one point in Sargon's fucking corner that you can't take away from him. He is vocally against this race realism bullshit. Took a big hit, too, when he, you know, kind of confronted it. But at least he stood on that principle. Oh, Ashley's talking about my shirt, dude.
I love it.
Why do you love my shirt?
I mean,
Why are you like chatting in the chat, sitting right there?
Because I don't want to interrupt you talking.
Well, you can interrupt me. I don't, you know.
Like, they say a lot of things that I want to comment on, but
Oh.
you're going on some sort of tirade, and I just don't want to stop you.
Well, that's all I do is do some sort of tirade. Do you notice the misguided good intentions far left people have in trying to bar these rebranded racists? I'm kind of sick of the fact that shit keeps popping up as well. Not an SJW chat. Let me reread this because I've got to try and understand what you're asking here. The misguided good intentions far left people have in trying to bar these rebranded racists. Bar them from what? Talking about like, yeah, I don't know. Like, are you talking about like, yeah, you're gonna have to be specific. I don't know what you're accusing, like far left people of barring them from their chats. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I don't care how anybody runs their chat. Can I just come out? Let me just come out and say this. I don't care what you do with your chat. If you have a live show that you do in front of your chat, I don't care if you silence them and don't pay attention to them. I don't care if you only promote the sycophants and ban anybody who has anything to say against you. I don't care if you ban everybody that's watching every time they say anything. I don't care what you do with your audience and your chat. Your chat, I don't look at that as a platform for free speech. And I don't want you to look at mine that way either. So what you do with your chat is not important. Okay? Yeah. That's why it's their chat. Like, that's why this is my chat. That's why when somebody pisses me off, I ban them. And there's no consequences for it because it's my chat. And I treat everybody else's chat that way too. Whatever they want to do. Freeze Peach. Freeze Peach. Paul, asking for advice. How should I break up with a girl that I honestly do have strong feelings for, but life circumstances and my job have made it so continuing with her is impossible? Well, once again, dude, like, you're asking me for very specific advice about a very general question there. I can't tell you what kind of life circumstances are you talking about? That's the hard thing. In order to really advise somebody on something, they have to give you some personal details that you probably don't want to do in a chat. You know, but like just telling me that you have life circumstances, that doesn't give me any idea what the problem is. Sargon of Akkad and Jordan B. Peterson made the neo-Nazi conspiracy theory that the Frankfurt School is using cultural Marxism to destroy Western society normal. All right, well, I don't know how connected that idea is to neo-Nazism, but you know, like I'm aware of this, like Jordan Peterson's war against postmodernism or whatever the fuck. Tell her what you just said and break up. Yeah, there you go. What do you think of ContraPoints? I just watched her Jordan Peterson video this morning, actually. Or no, it was last night before I went to bed. Right before I went to bed. Well, technically this morning, I guess. And it was really good. I really, you know, I don't always agree with her political conclusions when it comes to the worth of, like, some of the more SJW spheres of things. But I do love the way that she constructs her arguments and breaks things down. She did a really good video on what we've been talking about here today, you know, about the alt-right. And the coded racist language that's woven throughout. I should be working on something, but I'm too busy shit posting with Paul. Oh my.
Who cares?
Conspiracies aren't a fantasy. They do exist. But it's always conjecture until proven correct after finishing up. Some conspiracies are straight up fantasy, dude. Just because somebody has a conspiracy theory doesn't mean, like, I'll wait for the jury to come in. Like, no. Like, we have criteria by which we can kind of dismiss certain conspiracy theories. Like, for example, Mark Dice's Freemasons and Tears bullshit. Do we really got to wait for the jury to come in as to whether there's a shape-shifting lizard species controlling everything? I don't think so. I just don't know if Jordan Peterson and Sargon realize that they're speaking in coded anti-Semitic language. Well, if they are indeed speaking in coded anti-Semitic language, then they are more than likely aware of it. Sargon is a smart guy, and Jordan Peterson is a smart guy. So, if that is what's happening, and I'm not saying it is, because I don't know that I agree with you, but if that is what's happening, they're smart guys and they know what they're doing. And maybe we need to have a conversation about hiding your power level again, if you get my drift. Maybe Sargon and Jordan Peterson, if that is the case, just know how to hide their power level a lot better than JF and Andy Worski do. Huh? I mean, I didn't introduce this language, they did. You know, can't slander them with their own bullshit. Power level. I didn't, you know, it wasn't liberals and leftists and whiny fucking SJW cucks that did that to them. They did that. They decided to make that language and to use it amongst themselves to the point where it became public knowledge what it meant, and continue using it as a way of saying, I'm way more racist than I'm being on this YouTube video. I think JF is just being open about it because he can't get popular without that niche. I think JF loves the worship that he gets from his dedicated audience. Once again, most of which is made up of young males. Young, impressionable males who want a daddy to tell them what to think and how to act and how to be relevant politically and who they should blame for all their little problems and shit. Like, JF loves that worship. He loves that like, he loves people looking at him as if he's an intellectual. And he loves the accolades that come along with being an intellectual. More than he loves the pursuit of knowledge, he loves the pat on the back that he is expected to receive from people because he's an intellectual. And he's allowed his unending, unceasing search for that to lead him down the racist rabbit hole of, here's how I can get people to absolutely worship me. I show them that I've got a PhD or a fucking master's degree or whatever the fuck he's got. And then I start talking rebranded racist bullshit. Da 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 da. JF isn't worth even talking about. I wish that were true, but it's not. And like, people just don't even seem to know. Like, people who I know don't share that kind of ideology are going on that show anyway. Like, I ain't gonna name names, but somebody I have a relatively recently close association with stumbled onto that show. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Why are you there? All right, thank you for coming on. Now we will have Emily Eustace come on to talk about how monkeys and black people have more in common than black people and white people do. Okay, time to wise up, guys. Might not want to go on that show. Might want to go and play nice on some other platform. Even the thumbnails for his videos have an uncomfortable aura to them. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. JF was fun when he was like the weird Canadian satyr that would call in and talk about how he liked to lick women's legs and laugh along with us at stupid videos and shit. JF, the goose-stepping fascist piece of shit, is just kind of lame to watch. Sick of this YouTube, Facebook, subreddit thing. Every group needs protection. This mentality is why you guys have lost so much of your ad revenue. It's bullshit. Well, no shit. I mean, like, the internet, especially this type of thing, should be, if anything, a free exchange of ideas. I'm not calling for JF to be silenced. I'm just calling out what I see on his show. You know, I don't want YouTube taking it. I want that shit in the sunlight. I want other people to go watch it and go, holy fuck. Why the fuck is he having this conversation? I want other people to see what it is. I want people to think about what this ideology, like what the end game really is, what it's rooted in, where they've heard this type of talk before. You know, I want people watching that shit. I don't want it hidden. I don't want YouTube to ban it for hate speech or any nonsense like that. I want JF to run his little show. I want to know. I want to be able to look at it and go, okay, that's out there. But that's not the direction that things are going on the internets. On das Internets. Nowhere else have I heard people say the Jewish question, let alone so fucking much. I mean, I don't know if it's been clipped or whatever, but like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of these ago, I sat there for like an hour and went to random timestamps on the last Warski Live with JF and Andy before they broke up, and a big panel of Jew haters, And I could not find a timestamp that within 10 seconds they weren't saying something derogatory about Jews. I couldn't find one. I mean, I think I may have landed on one or two in the entire hour that I spent. I was picking random ones myself. I was going to random ones called out in the chat. And every time within 10 seconds, it was just like, and really at the root of that problem is, you know, the Jews. The Jews have been for centuries, have been responsible for subverting the authority. You know, it's just like, okay, let's try another one. Just like, Jew hating? Did we fight a war over that? Like, we didn't figure that out? Jew hating now? Yeesh. Okay.
You want to see something cool?
Yeah.
My hair in the sunlight, you can see the pink show through the purple.
Oh.
Because
Cool.
there's still pink underneath it.
Right, because you had it dyed pink there before. That's
cool.
weird. Yeah, that's why it's not fading into pink.
Yeah.
Hi, Paul. Did you know your answer to a question of mine about political correctness prisons in America was the intro to my newest web series? Trust your sources. Oh, yeah. Trust your sources. You're the guy that, yeah, you ask questions and then you ask them around and you get other people to answer the questions and you put together a documentary about a subject, people's answers and shit. I've seen a couple of the things that you've put me in. Or TJ. I'm the guy. My girlfriend dyed her hair pink too, and she's obsessed with it. I mean, what, you know, whatever. It's cute. She likes it. It looks cute on her, but, you know, I don't know anything about no hair dyes and shit. If you type in French rapist in Google Images, the first result is JF. I don't like that. Like, I don't know that, you know, there hasn't been any fucking evidence presented that he ever raped anybody, so I do not like that. Jordan Peterson and Sargon are gateways to these kinds of thinking. Well, that's a scary thought. I don't know if it's true or not. Like I said, like...
Paul,
what?
You're bleeding. Stop.
Scratching a fucking mosquito bite on my knee. These motherfuckers will go up your pant leg and bite your leg. You know? These fucking mosquitoes, man. Get rid of them. Get some off. I have it, dude. I put some of this shit on me when I sat down here. It's on my fucking arms and shit, and I'm not getting bit there. They flew up my fucking pant leg. They're like... Fuck. Skeeter, Skeeter, Skeeter. Out, out, out. Yeah. I want the no skeeto state. Tinore. What are you doing? Come here. Come see me. Look at this poor little cone dude. Poor dino. Poor dino of the cone. Senior Cone. The cone of shame. The shameful cone.
Here's your coffee.
Oh, my coffee?
Yeah.
Thank you. Ooh. Rick and Morty mug.
Somebody asked a question about hair dye.
Oh, did they?
No, I'm asking you. That person?
No, he just said that my girlfriend dyes her hair too pink and she's obsessed with it. And I was like, oh, I can relate.
Yeah. So I asked a question.
So sunlight is bad bleach because the media is dog shit. I mean, no. It's just, you have to dig a little harder for sunlight these days than you should have to if the media was actually doing its job. But sunlight is still the best disinfectant. Let's get it out there. Let them make their little speeches and proclamations and let them reveal their power level ever more and more until it becomes so repugnant that your average Joe goes, I can't get behind this. And, there's a natural public backlash just due to the fact that you allowed them to speak their minds on the subject. After seeing that first episode of JF's show, and then having like the third episode be a debate between Nick Fuentes and Richard Spencer, the literal neo-Nazi dude, I kind of know which way the wind is blowing on that show. This mug makes me 10% smarter on every sip. Holy shit. What do you think white nationalism is all of a sudden popular? Because I think that I think it's in backlash to this, like, super SJW kind of mindset where people, have pushed this narrative that everything is racist. They've completely and utterly removed racist as a word that, is usable almost anymore because people are so weary of hearing it as a call out that actual racist thought was allowed to kind of breed a little bit. And I was part of this, dude. People, like, I took a giant step back from my natural inclination to call out stupid right-wing thought when the left went crazy. And a lot of reasonable leftists did. We're like, whoa, I was never, this is crazy. I was never about, like, enforcing pronouns and all this fucking crazy shit, and men can never be right, and men should always do this when talking to women. I was like, it was never about that level of social control. That's not what feminism was when I was a kid. So I took a big giant step back from the left because I was like, fuck that. If that's what this is poisoned with, then fuck that. I'm And a lot of these right-wing thinkers, jumped in on calling that out, and they were right about a lot of the things that they were saying about the SJW movement, and they got their foot in the door. And then you see where we've ended up. Look at what the most popular show is right now in this, like, whole fucking skeptic community. It's The Public Space with JF, where they talk about how black people are monkeys. Not hard to fucking follow the breadcrumbs through this one, right? Man, that's good. What is this? Is this that,
It's Willow, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think Chelsea made it. It tastes like blonde.
It's really good.
Yeah, well, that one's being discontinued, so that's, that bag is the last.
So it's like a unicorn. It's like I'm drinking unicorn blood.
Well, maybe.
It's a Starbucks coffee that's getting discontinued, and you've got one of the last bags, and I'm drinking its blood right now.
Yeah. Well, there's not very much left in that one. It sucks, because the only blonde that they have as a core coffee now is Veranda.
Well,
but I mean,
the last batch made by old Starbuck himself. And I'm drinking it.
actually bought a couple months ago.
Drink it slowly? No, I got a whole bag of it in there, man.
There's really not that much left in it.
Shh. Quiet, woman.
Chelsea likes the blonde the most, and I like all of them, really.
I like dark roasts.
Yeah.
Yes, I drink your coffee. I sip it up.
Next next time they have one of their little, like, limited edition blonde roast, I'll get a bag or two of that.
Paul, where are we going as a country? I don't know, but we seem to be circling and descending at the same time.
Oh my god.
What?
It's a big old, like, chunk of glass in my flip-flop.
Whoa. Luckily you were wearing that.
Holy shit.
And not barefoot whenever you stepped on that shit.
Damn. That's great. Sorry.
Orbiting? Orbiting. What are we talking about here? Did I call out because I'm talking to my girlfriend? I'm orbiting you, Ashley.
Are you?
I don't know. I'm in the Ashley orbit.
Am I orbiting you? You're the bigger one.
Well, yeah, but...
So I would have to be in your gravitational pull.
Right, but size does not always indicate mass, number one. Number two... What? Number two, I am definitely orbiting you.
Why?
Because.
Is there like a metaphor for this that I'm missing?
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. Ashley is Paul's moon. Okay, that's fine. Does Paul just imply Ashley is whatever? Get out of here.
More dense. Oh no.
Now Kith. Now Kith, you two. Paul Schley. I ship it. Mirthful Paul is unsettling. Uh-oh. Wee. Welp. I, for one, think Paul and Ashley are a cute couple, and my dead heart can only take so much cute. See? Fuck the haters, dude. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream now. Thank you guys for chilling. I'll talk to you later. Bye.